Hello, and welcome to Vortex and Alchemy. My name is Heather, and today we're going to do a pick a card. So, this group is group one, this group is group two, and this group is group three. Group one is the world, and your angel number is 644 and struggle. Group two, your card is strength, and your angel number is 151 and make magic. And group three, you're the butterfly. Your angel number is 701, and the theme is angelic company. So if you're called to one or more, feel free to listen to one or all. And if none of them resonate with you, that's also okay. I do feel like if you found my channel and you found this reading, there is a message in here for you somewhere. So go ahead and go to the comment section where I should have dropped timestamps for group one, group two, and group three. I'll see you over there. Hello, group one. You chose the world, angel number 644, and the theme struggle. It says self created stress is unhealthy. Your angels are asking you to get honest about how you contribute undue stress and conflict to your own life. They ask you to contemplate how struggle plays into your comfort zones. Notice where you are making life harder for yourself today, even in the smallest moments. Make a tiny change today so that a small struggle becomes obsolete. And the world definition, the energetic meaning for this card is home, exploration, universe, peace, balance, and harmony. The fortune is the world calls us to reintroduce ourselves to our truest selves. We come into this world with a purity to our spirit. Over time, with us humans being complex creatures, events and circumstances can bring forward all kinds of blocks, walls, and scars that may keep us from feeling good or at peace with our world. Build your inner world full of love and positivity. Make inside so safe and beautiful that the outside world can no longer shake you. If you feel lost in where you start, think of things that make you feel good. Not vices or quick fixes, but things you really love that inspire you. When you change your inner world, the outer world soon follows. And when we can't change things, then having inner peace is what it's all about. So shake off the bad things just like an animal would and stride forward with the confidence that you were meant to be here on earth like every other living being. You belong here. We need you. Live with love, for love is our greatest strength. Your mantra for this reading is the earth is my home. I am safe. I am at peace. I am full of love. So, also in traditional tarot, the world is an ending, right? It is the end of the journey that starts with the fool and ends with the world. To me, it's kind of interesting with the struggle card because I feel like, for the most part, you may have been working on this for a while. And, there's something about having high cortisol levels and maybe having some issues with sleeping recently. And this is basically a reminder that the universe wants you to make sure you're taking time to actually rest as well. This feels a little bit like the self created stress may have something to do with goals and being really goal oriented and constantly setting that next goal. So there is something to be said about not just rest, but also celebration. I think a lot of times, we do tend to live in a society where it's always to the next, to the next, to the next. And we rarely take time once we reach a goal to actually celebrate that we reached that goal. It's usually immediately on to the next goal. So there is something in here about taking a pause because there may be some issues that or struggles that you've had, which is funny because the mind came out when I said that. There's some struggles that you might be having where you have some stress that's unnecessary. And it's because you're not giving yourself recognition for all of the changes you've already made and all of the goals you've already hit. So let's see what the Oracle has to say and what information the universe wants you to know today. Oh, the Master, breakthrough, consciousness. Woo! These are big and heavy cards. Bottom of the deck is that mind card. It came back. Okay, so to me, this feels like at a soul level, like deep, deep down, you know, you know, not only that you are basically becoming successful, are successful, have been working through many, many things, but it's the mind that has been getting in the way and giving you almost like the kudos, right? Like the good job, congratulations. It's kind of that need to constantly perform, the need for perfectionism that's unnecessary. So, this struggle that you're experiencing right now, and this card came out, that's 644. It could be a number that you're seeing. If you're not seeing it yet, it could be a number that you see after this reading. And when you do, it would be a reminder to take a deep breath and basically kind of figure out where is the stress coming from, because a lot of stress is self-created, right? We definitely live in a very stressful situation just being on this planet. But we do create a lot of stress out of worry and out of the unknown. And so we do go through a lot of what if, what if, what if. And, a large majority of the time, none of those what ifs even come to pass, but we've spent so much energy on them. So this to me is you are at the edge of closing out a cycle. And some of this is your comfort zone. And it's kind of how they talk about in here, where notice where you're making life harder for yourself. We are our worst critics. We are the meanest to ourselves. And this is very much heart over mind. Like this is starting to lean more into that intuitive side of yours, that kind voice. I like to call like my intuition my surfer dude, because I feel like it's sometimes really hard to identify what the difference is between your intuition and, your ego. And for me, one of the easiest things for me to do was in the moment when I had a reaction to something, I realized that if it's ego, it's usually a very emotional reaction. It's a high or it's a low. It's usually dramatic. And if it's my intuition, it's like super mellow. And so I kind of started thinking like my intuition is a little bit more of like my surfer dude. So totally, it's just a little bit more chill. So there's something in here about your intuition has been pushing you not only to release some of this, self-made stress, but also some of the stress is coming from the fact that you haven't celebrated your wins. And so you may still be feeling like you're super behind on certain things in your life, certain trajectories, certain things that even maybe society told you you should have this at this age or by this time. We are living in an insane time. Okay. So, whatever those things are that you think you should have, remember that everything that you believe has been told to you. So, there may be something in here about not only ending this cycle of self created struggle or stress, but creating a new cycle where you reward yourself, you pat yourself on the back. When you hit a goal, you acknowledge everything that you had to do to get there and you thank yourself for it. Life is not easy. And all of these goals, whether it's big or small, they matter. And the fact that you have put so much time and effort into each one of these steps that you've taken in your life is super important that you acknowledge it. So, what's really interesting is I feel like, again, intuitively, you are fully aware of this. This seems like very surface energy. So, there may be something that came up even during this solar eclipse that just happened on February 17th. That was at Aquarius, which is an air sign. And Aquarius and air signs in general, big thinkers, also big picture thinkers. So, you may have had a moment of zooming out of your life, of a situation, or even of a goal that you're currently working on. And you may have been able to see a little bit of the bigger picture, and you may have seen that part of the problem might be a little bit of you creating your own hurdles, right? And some of those hurdles may not be physical hurdles, it may just be having to do with how you're talking to yourself and how you're treating yourself as you're going through this goal or experience. So it feels like your inner surfer dude, your intuition is really calmly, but whispering to you that this is done. You've been aware of the cyclical nature of yourself, but I think that the missing component is you have not put the two things together where you're not rewarding yourself for your achievements. You're always just like How do I get to the next achievement? So this is asking you to stop for a moment and take a deep breath. And even if you could look back in the last year, and if you could write down everything that happened to you that you went for, right? Anything you took a risk on, anything you went after, anything you tried to build, what happened throughout that time? Where are you in that space? Because again, a lot of times we don't even realize like we've hit a goal because we're so focused on moving forward constantly. So you have this mind card that is basically telling you that anytime that you start to feel like you're stuck or you can't move forward or you're really stressed out or you can't sleep, again, I feel like you've maybe been having some issues sleeping. um, it's basically the time to take a deep breath and ask yourself why. Like what are you actually stressed out about? Because some of this self-made stress, it almost doesn't even fully feel like it's a fully formed thought. Like some of it could even just be around a multitude of things. Like I said, like if society is telling you you should, be married and have a kid and have a house, or I should have had this business started by now. Whatever it is that you've been focused on and feeling like you haven't gotten to the big one yet, you're missing all the little steps that you've been taking in between. So, and interestingly enough, your intuition is very much aligned and basically saying like, no, no, you're doing fine. Like you just need to acknowledge how far you've come already. So you have the mind here, and under that is ordinariness, which to me is a very like calm card. It's basically being here now, recognizing, being in the moment and kind of enjoying the beauty of life. So with these three cards, you have the master, breakthrough, and consciousness. And this is why I'm saying like I think this is the tail end of a cyclical nature that you've been on. There's been a pattern here where it's like you have gone towards something, you've worked really hard to get there, you've gotten it. It may not have looked like you thought it would. It may not have happened like you thought it would. Again, the more that you watch my videos, the more you will hear me say, like, we don't have control over the outcome, right? So it may not have turned out exactly as you thought it was. A lot of times it can turn out better. So there's something in here about you having this recognition of this pattern, which is you starting something, you going after it, and maybe it not looking exactly like you thought it would or turning out or even in the time frame, because that's a big one. We always like have a specific time frame we're trying to hit. If we don't hit it, there's some sort of failure that's involved there. But I think you're seeing it. And like I said, there's something that happened probably around the eclipse that kind of opened your eyes to it a little bit more. And it could have even just been um, the ability to see how far you've come, even in a short amount of time. Like I said, if you could just go back a year and write down all of the things that you accomplished between this time last year and now, I think you might be really surprised. And it may be just what you need to close this pattern out of, whatever it is, not being successful enough, not everything not unfolding exactly as you wanted it to. It's that release of control. So to me, it feels like you're actually exactly where you need to be. Not these. Um, and basically, the universe is like, you have all the tools that you need. This master card is very much like knowing who you are, very much being in contact and connection with your like soul and your intuition. This breakthrough right in the middle is where I feel like we are right now. It's this understanding that in order to get out of this mind, it has to go into consciousness. And this is all about integration, right? It's about seeing the bigger picture so that you can zoom out for where from like whatever story or narrative you're kind of going around and around and around in your head about. When you start to integrate your head and your heart, they stop arguing so much. So there's something about your heart knows what you've gone through, and your heart is very aware that you are doing amazing, but your head keeps telling you you can do better. And so this is about integrating your head and your heart. So, and it is a little bit of that ego and intuition battle where your ego's like, it's not good enough. And your intuition's like, keep going this way, like just take the next step. A lot of us are afraid to move forward because we don't see how we can get to the very end. But like, we're always so focused on the goal, the end result, that we're not even thinking like everything you experience before you get to that goal or result is literally life. Like that is the entire experience that you go through in order to hit the goal. If we just hit a new goal every single day, life would honestly not only be really stressful, but probably pretty boring. Um, so there's something coming in for you about this consciousness. And again, it's you already know this. So if it's not fully come through the mind space yet, it has come through the heart space. And this could be that lack of sleeping. It's weird because a lot of times when you can't sleep, it's like your brain might be going over a scenario or a situation over and over again. But this actually just feels like you're not, it may not even be that. Like you may not even be overthinking, and that's what's keeping you awake. It almost seems like a lot of times in the past when you've had trouble sleeping, you could identify it, right? Maybe there was a stressful situation going on. But this is what I think, this self created stress. It's why you can't fully identify why you can't lower your cortisol levels. So to me, it feels like you're really close to getting to this breakthrough, being able to blend your head and your heart. Now, let's see. Okay, I pulled some Moonology cards for you. And you got conclusions are within reach, full moon eclipse, which is funny because we literally just had that solar eclipse. And we are about to have a full moon eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd. So between now and March 3rd, that's when this breakthrough may happen for you. And that also may be where you start seeing 64, 44, or 644, which is the universe reminding you, hey, hey, is this stress that you're feeling right now real, or is it something you've made up? I'm going to see if there's anything else in this. I feel like there's one more card. Yeah, here we go. Hold your vision, fixed moon. So again, there is something very specific too that I think you're focused on right now in terms of like it's not there yet or I haven't reached it yet. This is basically saying there's an end coming. And I think if there's a little bit of stress around this or trepidation around this, this is basically just letting you know, like, keep holding the end result. You may not know all the connecting points that's going to get you to that end result. Just hold the vision of what you want that result to be and acknowledge all of the work you've done already. The bottom of the deck is be bold and make the first move. So again, this to me feels like it's about you. So it's about being able to acknowledge that sometimes your brain overreacts and sometimes your brain will play a bunch of what ifs with you. And it's not always helpful. So we're going to close out this reading for you with a Wisdom of the Oracle card. Let's see what final message the universe wants to give you. Okay. Oh, we got Yen. Interesting. So this may also be a part of integrating your feminine energy. And, like you'll hear tarot readers and other readers say, there's no gender. And it's very true, right? There's a feminine energy and a masculine energy we all carry. A large majority of us, whether we identify as female or male, we mostly lean in male because male is survival. It's also the doer energy. So for anyone, trying to make a living, paying paycheck to paycheck, paying rent, taking care of themselves, taking care of family, all of that energy is yang energy. It's all masculine energy. And a lot of us live in that space, especially these days, because most of us are kind of highly independent, whether we're in relationships or not. So this integration between the head and the heart, it makes sense because to me, like the mind always feels like more of the masculine. It's very much the pragmatic, it's the 3D, it's like here and now. It's almost like that earth energy. And the heart is more of that feminine energy to me, the yin energy. It's a little bit more of like that water energy. So I'm going to go ahead and read this description for you. Yin. The essential meaning is the feminine principle of receptivity, letting someone else make the first move, which is funny because you had be bold and make the first move. Gathering information and taking in cues, the art of conscious allowing. This is the Oracle's message for you. This is a time of calculated receptivity as you gracefully await what is coming to you, ready to accept it when it appears. Yen does not involve frozen dreams or even resting, but rather consciously allowing things to flow to you. poised to receive the bounty that will be made available to you. It implies sensitivity as you alertly study the actions of others and contemplate how you will affect you and yours. Remember, you must make space for miracles to appear. Be the shaped, not the shaper, and you'll see how quickly your dreams manifest. And what's interesting is, to me, like, that actually makes a lot of sense in terms of this self-created stress, right? When you remove that out of your space, out of your thought patterns, out of your energy, you're making space to receive. You're making space for that next step to happen. Again, it's like the more we try to force a boulder up a hill, the more we stand still. Sometimes you got to let go and and just let it do its thing. So I hope that you found something in this message. I hope there was something that was helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time to view my channel. Obviously, it's very new. And I just want to leave you with this. Please remember that you matter and everything you do every day matters. Your power lies in who you are and how you show up in the world. And really, all of us light workers, everyone on the planet right now that's trying to change the frequency and show kindness and love, we're all lighthouses. So you're a lighthouse, and please don't be afraid to shine. Thank you. See you next time. Hello, group 2. You chose the card Strength, angel number 151, and Make Magic as the theme. The Make Magic card says, your desires are in your hands. Your angels say the time is now to create your future. The things you want are not just going to happen on their own. You'll need to create them. The steps you take today have a direct link to what happens to you in the future. Sit in a quiet spot and take 5 deep, centering breaths. As you inhale, envision supportive energy flowing into you. As you exhale, know that what you want wants you. And the card that you pulled from the Major Arcana was Strength. And this is what the definition of that is. The energetic meaning is strength, ferocity, heart, boldness, courage, groundedness, breakthrough, harmony, and tenacity. And the fortune. Strength calls us to believe in ourselves. True strength is to believe in yourself, mind, body, and soul with conviction. It calls us to aspire to the strongest version of ourselves each day. You are much stronger than you may know. You are a human being descended from tens of thousands of years of tenacity, resilience, and courage in the face of adversity. All of the strength of the universe is within you. Call upon your ancestors for extra strength in times of need. Faith can carry us through the toughest of challenges. Remember, there are always many others out there experiencing similar circumstances. We are never truly alone. Look at those who have overcome great challenges for inspiration that can keep you going. The Strength card also warns us not to mistake courage for naivete. Fear is a powerful guide, but sometimes it gets out of control. It takes experience to tell the difference between intuition and fear. Sometimes fear truly protects us from a bad situation. Other times, fear rises up to tell us we are about to do something we are afraid of, and we might hesitate or feel resistance. And it's in these times you must search within your heart, not the mind, for the answers. Mantra. So, this is the mantra for this card: strength in myself, strength in my heart, strength in my body, strength in my mind, strength in my spirit. Trust in myself, trust in my heart, trust in my body, trust in my mind, trust in my spirit. Faith in this earth, faith in this universe. It's interesting because some of the themes of this card actually came up in group number 1 as well. So if you were kind of attracted to that one, but went with this one, there may be a message in there for you as well, if you want to check that one out too. So the other thing about strength is, if you're familiar with tarot, you're familiar that there is a devil card on the journey, the Fool's Journey. So strength tends to be the one card that can defeat the devil. And so it's interesting because it feels like right now the devil is a little bit of your own mind. There's a little bit of fear of starting something, or moving forward. I love this card. This is really interesting because they have like the chains breaking in here. And I feel like you might be coming out of a situation where you felt really stuck and stagnant. And it's almost like the universe is telling you, like, now's the time, like, it's time to go. and you may be a little bit afraid to take that step forward because you may have been stuck for a while. So the message here is really that you already really know what you want or what you want to do. I think some of the fear is getting started. You may not know how to go from 0 to 60, right? And I think this is a little bit of a reminder that you don't have to go to 60. Like it really is just taking that first step, right? It's going 1 mile per hour. You don't have to worry about getting to 60 yet, but it is taking that first step forward. So, this moment of being able to sit and take 5 deep centering breaths while you're envisioning being supported, it's interesting that it asks for you to call into your ancestors, right? Which you totally can. I think it's such an amazing thing that we're alive because so many people had to survive for us to be here right now. And, most of us are highly disconnected from our ancestry and highly disconnected from our family lineage. But there is something in here where you may have an ancestor that has been working with you. And it all depends on your belief system, right? Some people believe in angels, some people believe in spirit guides, some people believe in passed on loved ones that are helping them. No one is wrong. I don't think. I don't know if anyone's right. I think the point is you need to find what feels right to you intuitively. And to me, it feels like you have had some energy around you, and it almost feels like it's been a little bit, I don't want to say even more recent. It feels like this energy has shown up in your space when you've needed it. So there's been turning points in your life that you've experienced where you're in this exact situation of being or feeling stuck or getting to this place of like immobility and needing to take a step forward. And it feels like this energy comes in when you need that. And it feels like that energy is with you. So if you already work with that energy and you've identified that energy, now would be the time to ask for a little extra help right now. But there's also a lot in this energy that's kind of trying to tell you you have everything that you need inside of you. So if you think of like a lot of times we will lean into others um, because we don't think that we can do it ourselves. But ultimately, you end up doing it anyway. So whether you're supported and you have a cheerleader by your side, or you have an energetic presence that's like trying to remind you of your own strength, it's always you that completes the task. So there is something in here where it's like you have this magic ability, and sometimes I think you may forget it. So I think you may be at a point where you've kind of forgotten this magic ability that you have of being able to move forward. You've done this before. This isn't new. You've had new beginnings in the past, and you've taken that leap of faith in the past. Oh, wow. Okay. They said what they said. Guidance is at the bottom of the deck. So again, that's that energy that's around you. That's really, it almost feels like it's supportive, but it's almost like trying to shove you into this new direction. And there's been a little bit of hesitation in your space, this like breaking of chains. And I think it's a comfort, like a comfort level. You maybe like became a little bit too comfortable in the stillness. And some of it may even be a little bit of like what they call like that hermit mode, right? Like the hermit card, where maybe you even isolated a little bit or um, took a little bit more time for yourself than you have in the past. And this is basically a reminder to you that you've done this before. This is not your first rodeo, right? So this energy around you is kind of trying to remind you that whatever is happening, this step into the future, this new beginning that you're a little hesitating on, it's reminding you like you've done it before. Like go for it. You just have to take that first step. Now, I love the cards that came out here. You have adventure, ripeness, and the lovers. Now, what's interesting is like again, you're at this precipice of something exciting and new. And that can totally be a relationship. This can also be a soulmate of some sort, right? And that can be friendship too, or a family member. But like to me, this feels very fresh and very new. It doesn't mean it's not a job that you have wanted for a long time, or a person that matches everything that you've ever been looking for in a partner. You may have met that person or seen that job listing 2 years ago, and all of a sudden it's popping back up again. This is like showing you are on this precipice of going on a new adventure. And this card kind of always reminds me a little bit of the Fool card in the tarot, where it really is taking that leap of faith. And here you have a child basically going on a new journey into the unknown, but like, look how pretty it is. you know there's there's darkness and everything around. It's like you're leaving, everything that you've experienced behind. You've closed chapters, you've closed out patterns and cycles, and you may have ended something that kind of put you into more of that isolation or self-healing. Like it feels like you had a little bit of self-preservation that happened, which was needed. And now it's like the universe is like, okay, great job. You did so good. But it's time to move forward because there are things that are ready for you. So ripeness is your second card here. And this is where I feel like this is kind of your bridging energy between adventure and this lover's card. And this can be like balance between your feminine and masculine side. But to me, this feels like a person. Um, because I even am trying to see if it feels like work or a job or an opportunity. And this really feels like a person. So I would say that this readiness is this ripeness, right? It's like the moment that you are ready to go on this adventure, this appears, or this is ready too. So it feels like you've kind of been a victim of divine timing. So I think a lot of it has been this little bit of fear that has been holding you back. And the strength card talked about that too. And we're so good at freaking ourselves out. And like, if this is a love relationship, when you fall in love with somebody or you take this risk or leap forward into trying to start something with someone, we all risk the fact that this person could destroy me, especially for any of us who've had our hearts broken before. It takes a lot of guts to put yourself out there, to be vulnerable, and to know like this could work out or this may not work out. This might be something that lasts a short time or this could last a lifetime. But we'll never know if we don't take those risks. And so it feels like you're being very guided. Let's see what's under guidance. Projections. Yeah. So to me, this is your fear. This is all of the past experiences that you've had before and the things that haven't worked out. This causes a little bit of that confusion energy and also the fear energy around taking that leap of faith because it's that, but what if it happens again? Like, what if it happens like it did last time? You're being guided to not listen to that. You're being guided to listen to your heart. And that heart is very much um, asking you to take that step. You don't need to know fully how this is going to unfold. We'll never know, right? Again, like if you end up watching enough of my readings as we go forward, I will say it all the time. We have no control over anything but ourselves. So like we don't have control over this outcome or where this is going to go, but to me this feels very positive and it feels like the moment you release the fear around what if or what could happen, it's like it's such an interesting thing. It's a slight, you know, tilt to the left to go from fear to excitement. Those two feelings are so similar. And so when you start to feel that fear, especially if you're about to take that leap forward, maybe ask yourself, am I really afraid of it not working out or am I excited that it can and it might? So I went to go pull pull Moonology cards and two just came out immediately. So you got emotions are running high and what do you need to release? Bottom of the deck is hold your vision. This was also part of the first reading that I did for group one. So this is reminding you that to me, this feels like, again, whatever this leap of faith is, it is taking a lot of guts. It's taking a lot to move forward. And it's because whatever happened before this projections card, it sucked, right? Like heartbreak is one of the worst experiences that we go through, regardless of how something begins, the middle of it, and how it ends. It is one of the hardest things that we can suffer through. So, this emotions running high, it feels like you have a lot of this like high, high, low, low. Like you get really excited about a new opportunity or moving forward or going towards something new or a new person. And then immediately it's like, oh my God, but what if it doesn't happen? So it feels like this make magic where it's asking you to kind of sit and breathe and focus on supportive energy coming in to help you move forward. it's really like to try to calm down your nervous system, because right now I think you've been spiking quite a bit into both sides. Like you're so excited for this new opportunity or new person. Like again, it's like it checks all the boxes. It's everything you've ever been looking for. Like you can't believe it's coming to your life. It may look different than you thought it did or be different, but I think it's more like you're shocked it exists. So this to me feels very much like it's in order to get to this like readiness to bridge that into this lover's card, it's being able to relax and basically know that what you want wants you to, right? And that's usually what keeps us from moving forward, besides, having to be vulnerable. And being vulnerable is basically moving towards something you want, and that fear of taking the risk and that person, place, or thing being like, nah, you're not going to get this. So this is basically saying, no, 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 know that what you want wants you too. Okay. So what do you need to release? It's this fear. It's whatever this is. And this could have been multiple relationships. It's not even always romantic relationships, right? Like we can have betrayals and heartbreak from family members and from friends and from romantic relationships. So this is reminding you, like, it's time to release that. This is where we do take the lessons, but we release the emotional baggage that came with that, because you're about to go into a new cycle with someone new, and you can't bring those bags with you, right? Like this is about creating something new from scratch, which means whoever this person is, that is not who the other person was. And you need to go in there with a clean slate in order for it to be successful. Okay, we're going to pull one final card to close out this reading. And I'm pulling this from the Wisdom of the Oracle. And again, if you guys ever watch anything and you're like, what is that deck? Like, please leave a comment and I'll be happy to give you that information. Oh, I forgot. Hold your vision. This is, again, I forgot to talk about that. So that adventure, that hold your vision is very much, you know what you want. Ooh, so go for it. Hold on, those went straight to the floor. Okay. You got time for a nap, which is that slowing down energy. You got Treasure Island. Now, I'm not going to read Time for a Nap because this card is very much about taking time to rest and to kind of get centered. And that's really what this Make Magic card is all about, is really centering yourself before you move forward. Because you are very much ready for this, but you have to let go of the fear that's around relationships, heartbreak, and loss, whatever it could be. Again, even if it is like a job. So we're going to read Treasure Island though, because to me that feels like that's the main message of what you need to know going forward. Treasure Island. The law of attraction, bringing dreams into fruition, the results of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, financial gains, and the sharing of good fortune. The message. You've worked hard and acted upon your unwavering belief in abundance, and suddenly, in the midst of it all, you hit the jackpot. You have uncovered the map to buried treasure and tapped the unlimited potential within you. What you must hone now is your ability to recognize when X marks the spot, because some of these golden opportunities may be obvious, but others may not be so readily apparent. Trust your intuition to light your way now as you enter this truly prosperous phase, where all along, hard work navigating your inner life is now paying off externally. In all aspects of your life at this time, you have good fortune. Don't forget to enjoy it and share it with others, as treasure shared multiplies like magic. Make magic. This is you taking your happiness and your excitement and creating a new life out of it. And from that, you actually push that energy around everyone who's around you. I am going to read the relationship message specifically for this card just because I kept picking up so much that this might be a person, more so than anything else. So the relationship message is, your relationship is a treasure, providing even more than you need, but you may not see that right now. No matter how long you've been together, you and your partner are always discovering hidden gems about yourselves and each other. Now is a time of discovery. It's as if everything is in sync and everything is new again. Romance blooms and love is in the air. You can be assured that this partnership will bring you great gifts and valuable lessons. Keep your heart open. The message of this card is to celebrate love and what it teaches you. And I think that's about this projections, right? Like there may be a lot of pain and heartbreak in the past, but you learned a lot. And you also learned not only what you want, but what you deserve. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really, truly appreciate you. I hope there was a message in here for you. And remember that you matter and everything you do every day matters. And your power lies in who you are and how you show up in the world. And as light workers and as empaths and creatives, we shine a bright light, right? We are a lighthouse. So don't be afraid to shine because that shine connects to all the other people around you. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Hello, group 3. So you chose the butterfly and the angel number 701, angelic company. The message says, you are being protected. Your angels see the struggle you are undergoing presently, and they want you to feel their loving presence supporting you. Call upon them to show themselves to you in signs and messages today, and in the love and compassion of those around you. Ask them to show you their love now and believe it when you see it. And you also picked the butterfly, which out of all 3 cards is the only oracle card. The other 2 were part of the tarot. So the energetic meaning of this card is transformation, growth, rebirth, new beginnings, evolution, best self, new chapters, fresh starts, leveling up. Ooh, that's exciting. Fortune is many lessons come from the butterfly. The struggle the butterfly must undergo to break free from its cocoon is itself a necessary process for it to be strong enough to fly. We as humans can go through this type of process over and over again in our lives. It can happen in different areas of our personality. It can happen mentally or emotionally or physically or spiritually. And it can happen as our whole being all at once. Sometimes outside forces can force us into a transformation we didn't quite ask for. But remember that every time we feel inadvertently set back to a cocoon or caterpillar, we will soon be through the process and take flight once more, reborn as a stronger, more equipped version of ourselves. The thing to remember is every deep hardship we experience, every pain, loss, struggle, will also imbue us with greater capacity for love, a greater understanding, a greater ability to be of service, and also a more resilient version of us to be better equipped to handle what lies ahead. The mantra of this card is I am becoming. I am right where I need to be. When I find peace, I make progress. I am healing. I am growing. I am evolving. I am becoming the strongest version of myself. That's gorgeous. So, this is pretty interesting. It feels like you are at this, hmm, you're at an interesting part of your healing. um, this feels like you are not quite out of your cocoon. Let's put it that way. It feels like it's that fight to get out to strengthen your wings before you take flight. That is the energy here, and it really feels like you're tired. Like you just want to be able to move forward. You're so done with the past, you're so done with the lessons that you experienced, and it feels like you're just so ready to move forward. And to me, it feels a little bit lonely. So, this may have been a little bit of a lonely journey so far, especially maybe just this last round of it. Again, healing happens over and over. And even the concept of, becoming a caterpillar again, to go into a cocoon, to turn into goo, to become a butterfly again, to struggle to get out to fly. Like, you've done this several times. But it does feel like this last time was hard and this one was lonely. It feels like you had more support in the past when you went through some of these transformations. This one has been a little bit more quiet, a little bit more emotional based. And you've done a lot of this work on your own. 701 coming up. This may be a number you've been seeing, and if you haven't, you might see it after this reading. And it is to remind you that you're not alone. So if you have been going through something and this part of your healing, it feels like you may have lost some friendships or relationships while you were doing this. Like it feels like maybe what initiated this healing phase was the loss of a friendship or a relationship. And then you also started to see maybe some toxicity that existed elsewhere. So you might have started to see patterns with like let's say you had a good friend and that you had for many many years, and you started to understand that they might not be good for you anymore. And it's not so much like they're a bad person, but it's just that you are continuing to evolve and change and grow, and they may not be, or they may be growing in a different direction. So there may have been kind of an abrupt ending, or almost like a ghosting situation, like something you didn't really expect to happen, where they kind of just disappeared, or kind of fell out of your life. But to me, there's something there that is what triggered you to start looking at everyone else. Because it's interesting. I had a friend that I had for many, many years, and I didn't realize how toxic our friendship was until after that friendship had ended. And it was all of my other friends in my life who were like, oh, thank God. Like, oh, finally that happened. And it was crazy to me how many people in my space and in my life had seen it, and had seen it for years and never said anything to me. And it was something that I had to see on my own, and I had to learn it on my own so that I could let go of it on my own. So this feels like this transformation brought about some loss. And by that, I think you may have started to look at the people in your life a little differently, because you were kind of like, if I didn't see how maybe, and maybe it wasn't toxic, right? That's always like a very strong word to use, but maybe it just became not good for you anymore. Whether it was emotionally or mentally, there was some draining of energy going on, where, maybe this person, every time you were around them, it was always all about them. It had nothing to do with you. They never asked how you were doing. Or if they did, you would immediately say, oh, I'm fine, because if you tried to talk about yourself, it wouldn't really go anywhere. You didn't feel the same kind of support from that person. So I feel like you ended up seeing maybe a couple other people. It also feels like even maybe situations, jobs, like hobbies, like it just seems like it bled out into other things, where you started to look a little bit wider at the company you keep and the energy that you have around you. And you started to want to protect yourself a little bit more from that energy. Mhm. So you are at this very close change of like being done with this cycle. And again, like you already went through a lot of the hard stuff. I think what's happening now is it's a little bit of fear around not just the unknown, but oh, that's so funny. At the very beginning, I said you were exhausted, like you're tired. This feels like you're tired. So, bottom of the deck has exhaustion. It almost feels like you just need a little rest before you take that next step, before you break out of the cocoon and take off in flight, right? Now, the three cards that came out are the Creator, Guidance, and Lovers. And it feels like to me like this is always the bridging energy between like where you are now and where you're heading. So you're in this creator space, you're tired, but you know yourself better than you may ever have. Like you've come back to yourself in such an amazing way. I feel like a lot of whatever you lost in the past, the relationships that kind of fell away, are the ones that you had to end, or put boundaries up. And I think sometimes like we use boundaries very loosely, right? We're like, and sometimes like we think boundaries are like it ends the relationship, but sometimes it's just like no, and sometimes it's just like not right now. It's just you going, is that what I want first, right, before you are just caretaking for somebody else. So this feels very much like you are at this point of feeling the most like yourself maybe ever. And I think you've already gone through a lot of the realization of your self worth, and, that you're lovable, okay? And that, even if you stayed in these situations where you didn't quite see them clearly, where maybe there was a little bit of disillusionment, right? Again, we're all really good at falling in love with potential and loving someone for who they could become, rather than who they are right now. So I think you've already kind of come to terms with that. You may have released some of that energy, and you also may have just forgiven yourself, because I think, again, we're always the meanest to ourselves. We really can beat ourselves up about these, especially when you see something that maybe you'd been missing for a while. And then you're just like, how did I not see that? And, I think some of it has to do with timing, honestly. I wouldn't put it all on us. I think there's lessons to be learned within the time and space that you're in that situation with somebody. Um, I do think that the universe will tap you on the shoulder in those situations and be like, are you like ready for change? Are you ready to move forward? And most of us are always like, no, that first time. Oh, no, no, no. Like, it's fine. Like, I believe in this person. Like, I believe that, I understand them so well that I know why they're reacting the way that they are or why they're treating me the way they are because I know all about their childhood or whatever. Like, we're so good at self diagnosis that we'll be like, well, I love this person so much and I understand so much about their life. I know why they act the way that they do. And we still have this like dream and hope that they'll change. But they have to want that, right? So anyway, I'm like going off. Sorry. We'll go back to this creator card. This is kind of where you're at. You've already figured all of this out. You're just at this point of needing to move forward. And this lovers card, it's interesting because the group number 2, like that really felt like a person, um, something separate from the individual. This feels more like you with you. So this is coming into one, you're in this respite and it's important to be here and it's okay to be here. So if there's a little bit, it feels like there's a little bit of you beating yourself up because you want to move forward, but you're also a little bit afraid of moving forward. And ultimately, you're just really, really tired. Um, this is a reminder that one, you're not alone and you have a presence that is around you that's going to help you through this. I think you need to continue to rest and also not beat yourself up about it if you are resting. I do think there are a little bit some old narratives that might be playing around in your head right now about this like forcing yourself to move forward, and a little bit of that fear that might be coming up is it's old. So you're being protected in this next phase of your life, in this next part of your journey. Like you've transformed. Once you see a pattern, you can't unsee the pattern. So this isn't going to happen again. If you have a new person come into your life or a new job or situation, you're going to see those red flags right. You're not going to miss them. And you're also not going to see a red flag and be like, oh, maybe it's pink. Like you're going to see it right away and you're going to create the boundaries that are necessary to navigate that in your life. So you're definitely you are safe and you're ready to move forward. I just think that this rest is important. So the bridging energy is this guidance, and to me it's not even just this angelic company. Yes, you, depending on your belief system, right? If you believe in angels or guides or your ancestors or passed on loved ones that are here helping you on this journey, you are being protected in this next phase. But this is almost like it feels like to trust your inner guidance instead of like looking outside of yourself. Just, this is almost like the angels being like, you are protected. Now trust yourself. And when you get into that space, which I think is really just going to come from rest and recovery, yeah, then it goes into moment to moment, the rebel. Okay. So this to me feels like movement forward, right? And being more in the moment. So this is about being here now instead of being in that past situation or being afraid that it could happen again. And then under that, you also have the rebel. And to me, this is very much like you coming into your own and being able to move forward and stand in your power. And this is a reminder, like the rebel sees a red flag from 7,000 miles away. So you're not going to find yourself in that same situation again. And you're going to be able to be in the moment and move forward to get to this lover's card. And to me, this is about you trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, and trusting your inner guidance. Because I feel like whatever you went through previously made you start to question it and it made you doubt yourself a little bit. And you've done a lot of healing and work around it, but there's still a little bit, like I feel like you're at the bottom of the barrel and it's like a little sticky. So you're just like trying to clean out the rest of this. And a lot of this is just about you really trusting that not only will you see the red flags, but you will make the right choice for yourself going forward. So this is about that self-love. It's working with your higher self and having that balance for yourself. I want to pull a couple Moonology cards. You got a win-win outcome is forecast, full moon in Libra. So again, this moving forward, you are being protected. It's all going to work out exactly as it's meant to. I think the rest is the most important part right now before you start to struggle in the cocoon, right? Before you start to build up the strength in your wings to break through that cocoon and take flight. I feel like there's one or two more. There we go. A new romantic cycle begins. Interesting. So this could be a person, but I think right now this is more about you, because when you come through all of the fear and everything that you've been experiencing, all of the healing work that you've done, when you get into this energy, that's when you attract this, right? So you're going to attract more, and it doesn't even have to be romantic, but it's like this is when you attract like attracts like, right? So as your frequency has changed, as you've cut things out of your life that no longer align with you and can't go on this journey with you, once you get in this full alignment of trusting yourself, that opens the door to bring somebody who's aligned with you in, right? A green flag, a giant green flag, and you're going to see it and you're going to go for it. To me, it feels like there actually is no hesitation once you come into this balance of yourself and trust yourself again to be making the right decisions for yourself. Bottom of the deck, work through your fears. So this is that last part. And I think the only reason that you're being kind of held up a little bit right now is because you're exhausted. Your body's exhausted. Like it's not even just your emotions and your energy, it's your body. Like physically you're exhausted. It's been a lot. It's been a lot to go through. So we're going to close your reading with a oracle from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Poised. Oh my god, perfect. And look, she's got wings. So this is you being ready to take flight. Let me read this for you. It feels very much that you'll know when you're rested, right? Like you'll know when it's time to go. And it feels like whenever you get that signal or sign within yourself, that's when you break out of the cocoon. That's when you take that leap forward into fully trusting yourself again. Okay. So the message of this card, poised, the essential meaning is being ready, bringing something to light, being at your best and confidence. The oracle's message is you can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to. Your skills are sharp. You've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. I'm also going to read the relationship message just because this romantic cycle card came in for you. The relationship message says, when you're confident and happy in your own skin, you are ready for a deeper, more intimate relationship. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. And that's what I mean. Like when you get to this spot, you're going to have new people coming in that take up a different kind of space in your life. And they're going to bring things to the table instead of taking from you. It's about adding to your life, right? You add so much to everybody else's life. So it's time for you to have that reciprocity. Thank you so much for attending my reading. And I hope that there was a message in here that resonated for you. And I just want to say, you matter, and everything you do every day matters. Your power lies in who you are and how you show up in the world. As light workers and empaths, we are the lighthouses. Don't be afraid to shine. You are changing all of the people around you just by being you. So take care, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks. Bye.